3 real stories from the UK where shadows watched from the corners and never left. A room where light has never entered. A postman who knows your name but has no voice. And a phone call from someone who's already dead. Once you start listening, you won't be able to stop. And remember, they might be closer than you think. Story 1. The room where light never enters. In the heart of Birmingham stood an old Victorian house with one room where light had never entered. Every owner locked it away, and those who dared to step inside never came back the same. The new owners, Richard Collins, 45 taxi driver, had just moved in with his wife, Margaret, 42, daughter, Sophie, 19, and son, Oliver, 12. The house smelled of age, its wallpaper faded, floors creaking. Upstairs, one door was locked with an old, rusted padlock. Margaret. Richard, why is that door locked? Did the agent say? Richard, hesitant. She said it's best not to open it. Ever. Sophie, grinning. That just makes me want to open it more. Oliver, quietly. Don't when I peeked under it. Someone whispered my name. The first night, a storm rolled in. Rain lashed the windows. Sophie, heading to the kitchen for water, noticed the locked door slightly ajar. She paused. A faint whisper slid through the crack. Voice, come in. When she blinked, the door was shut again. The disappearance. The next morning, Sophie's bed was empty. Her phone lay on the desk. Margaret, she's gone. Oliver, shaking, she went into the room last night. Richard ran upstairs. The door was open. Inside, only an ancient rocking chair, swaying on its own, and the sound of slow breathing, though no one was there. When the police came, Detective Harris inspected the upstairs. Detective Harris, sir, there's no door here. Richard turned. Where the door should have been was just a solid wall. Tats, the return. 3 nights later, footsteps creaked in the hallway. Margaret froze. Sophie stood there, drenched, pale, eyes black as coal. Margaret, where were you? Soph, behind him. They're still watching. Richard turned. In the corner, a tall, thin shadow, head tilted, unmoving. Sophie seemed normal during the day, but at night, she would vanish upstairs. One night, Richard followed. She entered the room, though there was no door. Inside stood a tall mirror. In the reflection, Sophie and 3 other figures with pale faces, black eyes, smiling. One stepped forward in the reflection and whispered, "Your turn." The mirror's glass rippled, and Richard was gone. Story 2. The Postman Who Never Spoke. Willow Lane, a street where curtains are always drawn, and neighbors whisper about the silent postman who delivers letters only at night. The problem: every letter contains the same message. I see you. The letter. Edward Turner, 52, retired Army officer, lived with his daughter, Lily. One autumn evening, Lily checked their letterbox and found a yellowed envelope, the handwriting jagged and old. Inside, one sentence: I see you. Lily, Dad, who would send this? Edward, probably a joke. Don't think about it. From the porch next door, old Mr. Graham, 60, spoke without smiling. Mr. Graham, that's no joke. I've seen him before. First sighting. That night, rain fell in thin sheets. At 1:03 a.m., Lily couldn't sleep. She glanced out the window and froze. Under the dim streetlight stood a man in a gray Postman. Coat, cap pulled low, face hidden in shadow. He moved slowly from house to house, slipping envelopes into letter boxes. When he reached hers, he stopped, lifted his head just enough, and smiled. His smile stretched unnaturally wide, splitting his lips, following him. The next night, Lily and her friends Harry and Chloe decided to follow him. They waited until the sound of wet footsteps echoed down the lane. The postman moved without sound, even on puddled pavement. When he turned a corner, they followed, only to find the street empty. At the end stood an abandoned building, the old sorting office. Inside the sorting office, the door creaked open. Inside, damp air clung to their lungs. Old letters littered the floor. Every envelope bore the same words, "I see you." Then came the sound. Slow footsteps behind them. The postman stood in the doorway. His face was, "Now, I'll never stop seeing you." Vanishings. The next morning, Harry and Chloe were gone. No trace. That evening, a letter slid under Lily's door. "I see you tonight." At 3:14 a.m., loud knocks pounded the letterbox. Edward rushed to the door. No one outside. But on the floor lay a gray postman's cap, soaking wet. Final twist. A week later, a new postman delivered the street's mail. He never spoke. He was Harry's height, but his eyes, entirely black. One morning, Lily opened her door. The silent postman stood there, smiling too wide, handing her a single letter. "I see you." When she looked up, he was gone. Oh. Story 3. The Last Call on a Rainy Night. On a rain-lashed London night, Emily Carter sat alone in her flat. Her fiancé, James, had died 3 months ago. So when her phone rang and his name appeared on the screen, she stopped breathing. The call, "Emily? Hello?" James, cold, distant. "Don't open your window. I'm outside." Rain poured under a flickering street lamp. Beneath it, a man in a black coat, face obscured. The warning. The next morning, Emily told her neighbor, Mrs. Hughes. "Mrs. Hughes, love, your flat's window doesn't face the street lamp. There's no light out there at all." Second call. At 2:14 a.m., the phone rang again. "James, Emily let me in. I'm cold." "Emily, you're not James. He's dead." "James, then who's been standing outside every night?" From the window came a faint tapping. CCTV. Emily called her friend, Daniel Brooks, a security worker. He checked the building's CCTV. On the footage, a black-coated figure stood at the gate. Each time lightning flashed, he was several feet closer to the building. without moving. The past, Mrs. Hughes revealed an old story. 15 years ago, a young woman's fiancé came to her window during a storm. She let him in. The next day, she was found dead. He was never seen again. Final night. The storm reached its peak. Emily decided to keep her window locked. At 3 a.m., her phone rang once more. "James, you didn't open the window, so I came inside." Emily turned. The room was empty. In the mirror's reflection, a pale, black-eyed figure stood inches behind her, smiling. The next morning, Daniel knocked. No answer. Police broke the door. The flat was empty. On the floor, a soaked black coat and Emily's phone. Its screen flashing a single message. "Next window, yours."